Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahai Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. Maria Zabak out of the GMS Dallas Camp. And I'm going to entitle this lesson here that's dealing with chastisement, okay? Which is a good thing when you're raising kids, okay? As a child, you learning continuously, okay? And you look, at your guidance, whoever that may be, whether it's your father, mother, for understanding. So, in the process of that, in maturing and growing up as a child, becoming a man or a woman, all right, there's order, and in that order, not only love is applied, but you also have to be chastised, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the balance of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that you read about in Ecclesiastes. You see, a false balance is an abomination of the Lord. Okay. So you can't have all of one thing. He's very balanced. You got east, west, north, south, hot, cold, good, evil. Okay. Life, death. You see? So chastisement, goes hand in hand with love. All right. So we're going to grab a few precepts and dive into it. As a matter of fact, let's start out with let's see, in the etymology online. All right. Chastisement. This in the etymology online, and it reads pain and suffering inflicted for punishment and correction. Okay, and that brought me to another precept. What's that in Revelations, the 11th chapter, if I'm not mistaken? Let's see. It might be the first verse too. Okay, yeah, this is Revelations in 11, and it reads, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, thy power." And we are that temple, okay? And the altar and them that worship therein, okay? And what is that? How you being measured? It's by the scriptures, okay? These scriptures, you see. So what's gonna come with that? Not only love, but we're gonna get chastisement. That's what that rod is, likened unto a rod. Okay, so that's correction. We're in these chains of darkness, these bodies. Okay, that are of the flesh. You see, that are corruptible. Have desires, lust, all of those things. Okay, that's a kryptonite unto the spirit. All right, and this is where our people must be corrected, because we are under the curses and we went off, although Yahweh Shai, he made it possible through his death, burial, and resurrection. So we have this grace period time to return unto our power, and this correction that we have now, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, this truth, will put us back in good graces with our power. All right, Lord willing, bringing you, Lord willing, that you become that you are of the elect. Okay, so this is what we're racing for. We're all striving for. To enter into those chambers. So let's get Hebrews. Okay, this is Hebrews chapter 12. I'm going to start from verse 5. All right. And it reads, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him." Okay, so this is that reed that we've been measured by with the rod, which is these scriptures. Okay, which is correction, because we've been going off walking in darkness. As Proverbs, walking amongst the congregation of the dead. You see, before we came into this truth. So we're gonna need that correction. All right. We've been walking in darkness for so long, it just don't happen overnight with the change. Yeah, your spirit is quickened, but you have to be renewed and conform. Be ye converted. Okay. Let's grab. Matter of fact, let's get. Let's grab. Let's get Romans 12 and 12. 12 and 2. Okay. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And it reads, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Okay. That you may be proved what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of thy power. Okay. So, that's what that correction of being chastised is going to do, because we always want to be loved. And let's get that. Although we hear it all the time, but, it's necessary. Let's get, what's that? 1 John 5 and 3. And it reads, "For this is the love of thy power, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous." Okay. Meaning that they're not burdensome. Okay. And, our people, we have to grow up and quit thinking everything is going to be a cakewalk and a piece of cake. You see, you're going to go through hard times. You're going to have good times, and those good times are so good that when you do, trip or fall a little bit, you have to get up, it feel like, damn, it hurt, but you need that, to be strengthened sometimes, because, there's a balance. You can't have all love where everything is peaches and cream, although we just read that it's keeping the commandments. Okay. First and foremost, when you're keeping the commandments in these bodies, that's where the scripture says not grievous, because this is what Yahweh Shai had done on the cross. All right. So let's get continuing on in Hebrews. All right. This is Hebrews 12. We start at, I read 5 again. "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him." All right. "For whom our power Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai loveth, he chastened it, and scourged every son whom he received." Okay. And that's what you're going to do with a child. You see a child running into danger, about to run into the middle of the street, and you tell him not to, you're going to wrap him up real quick before he can be endangered. And you might pop him on the, butt a little bit, let him know, hey, that's correction. So the next time you tell him not to run in the street, he going to remember that. He done been through that. Hey, I done been down this road before. Let me back up and let me chill. I saw what happened to me the last time I didn't take heed to what was said to me. You see? So these are the things that come our way, and it's a good thing, whether you're in the truth, okay, you're in the camp, and you get rebuked for something, that you might not understand at that time, just take it and move on, man. All right. Don't take it to the heart to where it hurt your feelings and you feeling a certain way, Or if you do feel a certain way, go talk to that brother, So if the brother's seeing something, uh, where we going off and correction is needed, the spirit is going to be put on that brother, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to bring forth that rebuke, you see. And let's get some precepts for that, all right? Let's get, matter of fact, we can stay in Hebrews on this one. We'll just move over here. All right, this is, let's get Proverbs, the 13th chapter, okay? And verse 24, and it reads, he that spared his rod hated his son, but he that loved him chastened him betimes, okay? So it's going to happen, plenty of times, all right? It's not going to be just one time, but, some things take a little bit more time and patience with, okay? So it's going to, we might have to correct them a few times before they get it right. But that's what you do when you want to steer your children into the right direction, all right? And that's coming from a good household, of people that actually love you, okay? Let's grab Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter, and verse 20. And it reads, for if thou didn't punish the enemies of thy children and the condemned to death with such deliberation, giving them time and place whereby they might be delivered from their malice. All right. So if you don't, take action, these things can get out of control. All right. And sometimes, that can put you in a further situation where it can bring forth, death, where you might not be delivered. With how great circumspection didst thou judge thine own sons, unto whose fathers thou hast sworn and made covenants of good promises. All right. So, your children you love, your own children you love more than a enemy, okay? An enemy child, and you just this not this circumstance, but this chastisement, lead us to life, to blessings, you see, leads you to good health. Those things in that nature, all right? Even good character, build good character around other people, okay? As in, what's that, Matthew 5:16, if I'm not mistaken. Even by letting your light shine, how you going to get it if you don't have it, okay? So it's going to take some correction, all right? As we read in Romans 12:2, the renewing of your mind, you see? But chastisement come along with it, and not just, good times, All right, let's grab Psalms 89. We'll grab one more after this. This is Psalms, I say the 89th chapter. All right. This is Psalms 89. I'm going to start from verse 30. All right. And it reads, if his children forsake my law, all right, let me highlight that. If his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then will I visit their transgression with the rod. And you see, that's that correction, okay, that chastisement, and their iniquities with stripe. All right. And, obedience is better than sacrifice, okay? But sometimes you do have to sacrifice. And when you do have to sacrifice, it's a good thing, okay? Um, you know, because whether, you take heed, fear the Lord, or you don't fear the Lord, either way, the good gonna come out of it. All right. You fear the Lord. That correction was good. Okay. It led you to being delivered. And even if you don't, take heed, you're gonna get destroyed, which is good. Because this earth is gonna be heaven on earth, which means you're gonna have the right rulership, and these law, statutes, and commandments gonna go forth regardless anyway. Okay. So either way, the chastisement going to happen, but it's better to take heed. Verse 33, nevertheless, my loving kindness will I not utterly take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fall. Verse 34, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips. And those are the promises of our power's word. So if he says, don't do this or this is going to happen, we better believe and be sure that, it's going to take place, give it time. It might not happen, instantly and immediately, but sooner or later it's going to happen. Okay. Which is judgment. You see? All right. Let's grab Baruch. All right. Baruch, 4th chapter. And we're going to start from verse, let me see. We start from verse 4. All right. And it reads, O Israel, happy are we for things that are pleasing to the Most High, our power, that are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Is that it? Yeah. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved our power to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. And it's that chastisement that we're going through now. Okay. All through those captivities, over and over, from the regeneration and regeneration and regeneration. We still those same spirits that are back today in our same lot. All right. Although, Yahushua is going to deliver us out of this captivity here in Babylon the Great. Okay. And that'll be the end of our chastening. You see? And we're going to get it right this time, because we'll have the law, statutes, and commandments written in our inward parts. All right. So, being chastised is not a bad thing. Okay. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. Shalom.